This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Thank you for attending. This is the second regular meeting of the month for the Sylvania Township Board of Trustees. Today is Tuesday, June 20th, and the time is 5 p.m. Dave, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. General.
Here.
Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Crandall.
Here.
Simcoe here.
Would you rise for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the June 6th meeting. I move approval.
Second?
Mr. General.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes. Mr. Oliver, any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Nothing this afternoon, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next item is hearing of the public for agenda items only, and I don't believe anyone signed in. Sir, are you signed in for the agenda item?
Non-agenda.
Okay. Next item is the zoning department, Mr. Ross.
Hi, Darrell.
Just have the one item, and that is resolution 23090 to appoint an alternate member to the Board of Zoning Appeals. This was carried over from last meeting.
Anyway, I kind of like the guy that was with design.
John Mailer?
Yeah, well, it seems to me like he had the best background. I don't know if you guys, I don't know him. But, I thought he, out of the 4 or 5, it looked to me like he'd be the best.
I did speak to him.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah. I called everyone just to kind of get a handle of what their interest was and all that. He's been doing this Board of Zoning Appeals his whole life as an architect.
Oh, yeah, it appears before him. But he also said if there was something with his work, he would abstain. I remember that. I didn't relook at it. I looked at it a couple of weeks ago. What was his name again?
Tony Mailer?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Malik. If somebody wants to second that.
I can second that.
Okay. I'll take the nomination. Call roll. Mr. General.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda.
And thank you guys for submitting your resume too. Appreciate it very much.
Next item on the agenda is Road and Service Department. Mr. Nash.
Good evening. Just one item, resolution 23091. This is a request to advertise for bid the 2023 leaf pickup already. Getting ready to fall. So we want to advertise in the blade on the 22nd, and then we'll open the bids on July 7th.
If there's no questions, I'll move item resolution 23091, authorization to advertise for bid for the 23 leaf pickup.
Second?
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. General.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Next item is Chief Rand, the Fire Department. Chief.
Hi, Mike.
Good afternoon. February, March, April, May monthly reports. I have all of them, copies of all of them with me, if anyone has any questions about any of them.
I had one question. It looks like the calls are way up and way down by your chart. Do we know how we're doing year to date? Are we up?
We're up.
We're up.
Yeah, and the one thing that,
I wasn't sure because
Yeah.
it looked like, boy, we really.
right, and the one thing that, I know I used to bring all constantly when we were, when I was doing them on a monthly, our overlapping is up over 67%. So, and that's an average over the last few months. So when we get one, we get a second one, and we get a third one, so.
I was hoping things would take, guess not.
Well, to be honest, John, I think we might see some taper a little bit because 5360 Garoon, the nursing home is closing, and the Gerlich Center at Flower are closing. And when you look on your numbers for nursing facilities, that one at 5360 is one of them that's pretty heavily gone to. I mean, that's where our run by. So Heartland, ProMedica had 138 in May, and the next closest one to them was Sunset Village had 60. So what we're going to see, you guys, and I'm a little worried about it, is now where do they send those folks? And I know a lot of them want to be out here. That's why they came to that one. So I would see some of those folks still maybe going to the Kingston and some of the other nursing facilities in the area. Our run volumes going there will go to zero because, but I did talk to Daryl Wahoviak from Flower, and he said there's already people looking at that building to, come in.
I could imagine that.
Yeah, so, our run volume's up, John.
The lifts seem to be way down, right?
Yeah, well, when you
now that we're charging.
Yeah, when you tell them you're going to charge them to come and pick someone up in their own facility, they don't want to be charged for anything. So I think that worked. And actually, our legal document that Mr. Burrell did, I've sent to other departments, and they've started instituting that too. So, yeah.
Good. Any other questions or comments? We've all received the reports.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. Next time.
Yeah. Just a kind of a quick our last new engine that was ordered was delivered. So the engines are all up to snuff. We have Al working on a couple of the older ones to make sure we're okay, good there. The new medic unit, they are going tomorrow to do the final inspection. And then I will be going down July 26th to pick it up to bring it back. So that'll give us our third medic transport. So just to that's the one we ordered in December of 2022.
We've got another one in order.
Yeah, another one's on order, but we are told probably another year on that one. So, and then the last thing I have is a resolution. It's 23-092, authorization to apply for the Ohio Ambulance Transportation Program grant. We are looking at every single grant we can get involved in, and this one's a pretty big one through the state. So we're eligible for $20,000. So we would like to be able to reach out and see if we can't get some of the state's money to help us.
Now, it's for the program, it's not for the equipment, right?
Right.
So we can't give two.
No, well,
That's good, though.
Yep, we're gonna stay on top of everyone and we can get our hands on it. I know Firehouse Subs has reached out to us again because we haven't applied for theirs for a little while. So I gave the guys a couple ideas of things that we could utilize and that they might be willing to help us with. So we're gonna write that grant too.
If there's no questions or comments, I'll move resolution 23-092, authorization to apply for the Ohio Ambulance Transportation Program grant.
Second?
Calling the roll, Mr. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Grader?
Yes. Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
John.
Thanks, Mike.
Next is Mr. Simcoe, the fiscal officer.
I think you all had a chance to look at the May analysis and that, we're doing well on our income, our revenue, I should say. And I'm certainly comfortable as a department with the numbers but as you know, and as you all do, and I do, we focus on our expenditures, and we're actually doing very well with those too. And so it's still at the end of 5 months, but I think our numbers are looking good this year at this point. And Ron shook his head in agreement there.
That's the official.
That's the official nod.
But other than that, I just have a couple resolutions to ask you to pass. And that the first one pertains to increasing appropriations. Let unencumbered balances, and you can see some of them are smaller, some a little bit bigger, but they're most of them are treasurer fees and auditor fees that are assessed to various accounts. Then our clothing allowances, some supplies, equipment repair in the amount of 25 is a little bit bigger in that we just need to have some money in our repairs. So you can see the other ones are kind of the kind of numbers that we deal with. They're a little bit on the smaller side, but they do add up. Keep an eye on them. So I'd ask you to pass resolution 23-093.
There's no questions or comments. I'll move resolution 23-093, Township Appropriation from the unencumbered funds.
Second?
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Yes.
And lastly, I have a resolution 23-094. And we do this often. We have to advance money out, give our best, and we're applying for grants and then get reimbursed. Again, it's a little, almost $2,400, but it's grants for bulletproof vests for our police.
There's no questions or comments. Happens all the time with grants. I'll move resolution 23-094, advancement of funds.
Second?
Mr. Gano?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is hearing of the public for non-agenda items, and I know Cindy Slaughterbeck is here. And, oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's the only change. Okay, Cindy, we'll take you first.
Cindy Slaughterbeck, 3422 Moffett. What I'm here about is the police officers. I had an incident where I had a gentleman walking in my backyard at 5:30 in the morning. My husband went out because my cameras went off. My husband went out, I had called the police. Police never showed up at the house. What I did is I turned my phone on to the scanner radio and I heard them talking. Well, what it was a dog. These people were looking for their dog, but you're at the back of my property. No reason to be at the back. And police officer never came to my house. The only reason I knew that it was a dog in my yard was because I heard it on the police radio. That's the one thing. The second thing is I'm trying to repair the deck that two people voted against. That I'm too close to a neighbor. We're out there doing it, my son-in-law and my husband. This goof, I would call him, you know, tell it to his face, is mowing his grass, blowing grass as dry as it was, and cottonwood everywhere. Nobody said a word to him, so I called the police. Can't get through to the police, so I called Clarence Whalen, Sergeant Whalen. He gave me a number to call, so I dialed 419-255-8443. They answered the phone, a recording. Lucas County Regional Dispatch. If it's not emergency, please hang up and call your office, administration office in your area. So I held on. 3 times I went to that. So I hung up from that and I called the administration office. Nobody answers in the middle of the afternoon. When you have 8 o'clock, they open up in the morning, no one answers phones. So the next day, I mean, it was early enough. So the next day, I get a call from Alisa. Very nasty. We don't take these calls. And I'm saying, oh, wait a minute. When I called to Lucas County Regional Dispatch, I was told to call my local administration office. And that's what I did, and I didn't get an answer. No, you need to call them. So I called down there again, waited 3 more recordings went through before I got anybody. And then Penny was her name that came through. And so she finally sent a police officer out. I don't know who he is. He's about this tall, bald-headed guy. So as he walked up, I said, I'm not very happy with the police officers. And she goes, when aren't you happy with this? And I said, let me tell you something. I've been in this place for 47 years in this house. And any problem I've ever had, they've come out and taken care of us. Never had a problem. Very highly of the police, fire, and the whole township. That's why I've lived here for so long. But when you tell me that, Come here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I took him to the backyard. And I said, now why would a guy be clear back here in my backyard looking for his dog? No reason for it. The dog, so I went back and looked at my pictures, and the dog was there at 4:30 in the morning. This was at 5:34 in the morning. I have pictures if you want to see them. So that's what I got to tell about the police department. That's why I'm very unhappy with it. That's all I have.
You mentioned, Cindy, I have a question. I think you said we voted on a deck. I don't.
Yep, I had my deck was too close to the neighbor guy that lives 400 and some feet up. He got mad at me because I would not.
I remember that, but I don't remember us taking action.
Oh, yes, well, I should have brought this stuff with me. I got papers that I'm in the, downtown to the county, gonna charge me $500 a day to if I don't get my deck was in compliance. But I sit in my backyard and I look at 4 pieces of junk cars sitting in his yard, 2 a motorhome and a camper that's junk. There's mold growing on it, and nothing is done.
Well,
Right, Daryl?
well.
And I called their office many
Let me
times
ask
and I'm not
Oliver.
getting through.
Oliver, we didn't take action this board, did we?
Yes, you abstained from it, John. Those 2 voted for it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You abstained.
Am
I have the paperwork on, I wasn't gonna bring that, I just brought it up.
I don't remember that, I'm sorry.
Yep, it started off in August of last year, and every month I was getting something, and I talked to the officer, to Dean Boyers, and I had to talk to Dean, or it would go to you people. I talked to Dean about it, and I said, it's been up there for 43 years. My daughter was 3 years old, she's now 46.
I remember that. Maybe that's my fault, my memory's slipping, I guess. What, on the police, I've had the same calls, I don't know if you guys have. If it's not an emergency, it seems like.
You don't get nowhere.
When you called, did you call the administration office or the police?
I called
Police.
49882-2055.
So that's the police.
That's what they told me.
No, that's fine. I
That's what
didn't
they,
know, you said.
it's a private number to the police.
So that was the police.
And her name was Lisa. And then I talked to the regional, down at the regional, his name was Penny.
Well, I've heard that, I don't know if you guys have had that before, but it's not an emergency, people aren't sure what to do. I'm not sure.
I mean, it was like 3 times that the Lucas County
Yeah.
dispatch thing goes over. Then
I've heard that.
it says it, and then, you can call it, and I thought, I'm just hanging on, and I hang on, and I don't get nowhere. 3 times, and each time I called.
Yeah, Oliver, can we find out what's going on with this?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
an hour will check with the police.
Thanks, Cindy, by the way.
department.
Yes, I know that both Chief Long and Deputy Chief Reddick are off today,
Yes.
but we'll certainly follow up with them, they can listen to the audio and.
I was gonna call, and I didn't, I thought I'm bringing it to the trustees, because I don't feel that it was gonna get anywhere.
It seems to me it's pretty frustrating when they tell you in Lucas County to call our administration and then.
You call the number and see what it'll tell you that.
I'm
It'll
not
tell you
gonna
that.
I'm not going to do that. But Oliver will follow up. So, thank you. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Dietz on the zoning change. I think this was our last meeting. Yes, sir.
How's it going, gentlemen? Thanks for your time today. I'll try to keep it pretty short. I just want to recap a couple facts for you guys and then just get some information on how you would suggest we proceed. I'll start by saying, just given the nature of our business and what we do and some of the equipment we use, we deal with a lot of zoning throughout the areas that we've been in. Maumee, Oregon, Perrysburg, Rossford, Toledo, Bowling Green, operating with the smokers and the equipment we have. We've done these type of things quite often. And from the start in March, everybody that we've dealt with, Mr. Turner, Mr. Grouse, Mrs. Trucker, have been great. It's been super simple, and I've mentioned multiple times that we've been impressed how easy everything has been. So up until a couple weeks ago, that's why I'm here. So starting back in March, we applied for the zone change. Everything was great. We had the meeting down at Lucas County, passed unanimously. We had the meeting with the BZA here, passed unanimously. Mr. Grouse gave me the information on next steps, which was the conditional use application, which we began the process of that. And all the while throughout the entire process, again, Daryl, Oliver, and I think it's Marie, were extremely helpful in communication with us, provided both email, written letter, and then also numerous phone calls, which I've learned isn't typical of notification. However, it did take place for us to let us know of said meetings that we need to attend. We like to think of ourselves as pretty punctual people, and we're on top of this type of stuff. So we obviously read all of those with plenty of documentation and supporting stuff to help our cause. However, we learned the day following the most recent meeting that there was a meeting, and we weren't there, obviously. After listening to the recording, Mr. Crandall, you had quite a few questions that no one here was really able to give supporting answers for. And obviously, we were pretty, put it lightly, bummed that we were not present for said meeting, and then it was unanimously voted against. Conveniently, at the same time, our neighbors, who we have never even met, who seem to have a lot of bad things to say about what we would like to do, were here for the one meeting that we were not here for, and that was also a pretty unfortunate situation. So after we spoke with Oliver and Daryl, they advised us that, to their knowledge, the channels that were supposed to be met to advise us of this meeting happened. However, the facts are we 100% were not notified that we were to attend this meeting, or that there was a meeting happening, that there was a vote to take place, and that we needed to speak at. We did not receive any letters in the mail. We did not receive any phone calls. We did not receive any emails like we did for all the prior meetings. And the last we were told, again, and no disrespect to Oliver or Daryl, they just said, as far as we know, you need to wait 6 months to do this all over again. And I really disagree with that and wish that there was a different way. So I wanted to come out of respect for you guys and look you in the face and tell you what's going on, and see if there's anything that we can do, or at the very least put on the record that that's what has happened, and we'd like to fix it.
My understanding, John, I think John asked for a list, and I think you were on the list. I don't know, was it a mail problem, or? I mean, I think you're on, wasn't Daryl, wasn't they on the mailing list for
Yes.
notification?
Yes, both Mr. Dieter and the property owner.
That's what I thought.
Were on the list.
Okay, so something happened with the mail. We had,
Right, and
we had a tough time handling it.
there's no finger pointing
Don't
at
give
me
us
from
a
me. I'm
bum
not
to
saying,
mail
anything.
service.
Daryl, I thought maybe, did Oliver ask you to take a look at to see if it showed that it was stamped, that it was sent, or something like that?
The postage meter?
I don't know.
I don't know, still that, I thought maybe you knew that it arrived to Mr. Deeds.
I don't think-
You would've known that.
It's not certified mail, it's just regular mail, but it did come back to us.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's not go there.
again, yeah, I don't want to conjecture and be saying like, I think this is.
No, I'm just curious. That's all.
Yeah. We have an office staff that's there 6 days a week that all of our mail for all of our locations, our catering operations comes there, and they have a job to handle it.
But my impression is you gotta start over again, unfortunately. And I
Well, that's what I'm
think-
saying. So I was told that not even to appeal, just to reapply. We need to wait 6 months and then start the 3-month process
I
over.
don't know how we,
Um,
I don't think we can.
Oliver, did you check with our legal counsel on this?
Yes, so I checked with Mr. Burrell. I called him after we had our phone conversation. He indicated because of the way that the zoning resolution is written, that it would need to wait the 6 months. But that was his opinion at the time. I can certainly ask him, follow up again if he's able to listen to this conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to, let's follow up and see, make sure.
Neil, you mentioned you would have rather seen it as a planned unit development kind of thing. Would that change the time requirement if you came in with a different application, or?
It's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
We were talking about contacting Mr. Burrell, and I apologize if that could be restated. Good question.
So Neil had mentioned that he would rather have seen it come in as a planned unit development. And you can probably explain better than me, but just if the type of application is different, would that erase the time requirements for him, and it would give us more understanding and confidence of what the property is going to be used for and how it's going to be used, instead of, there were so many questions we had, and unfortunately you weren't here to answer them. And I think that's where things kind of went wrong is because I think if we could have gotten the answer we were looking for, it would have been
Yeah,
pretty
100%.
good. And to know it got approved unanimously all the way along, and then we shot it down unanimously, it just showed that we were kind of off base here. And
Again, yeah, no disrespect to you guys, when listening to the recordings,
Well,
what information you did have, I don't feel as though you did the wrong thing. There was a lot of things that were questioned that had literally nothing to do with what we're doing. And some of the stuff that, again, no disrespect to either of these guys because they did a great job putting the presentation together, but we're a little bit different than what we're actually planning to do that I don't even know if let's say we didn't follow any of the channels and we're doing it there right now, you wouldn't even know. It's just, it's one of those things. So it's
I think Neil had a good point.
Sure.
If you weren't there and we give you C2 zoning, there's a lot of uses. You never know what might happen in the future.
Yeah, I think,
Neil's point was if you did a PUD that's specific to that use. I think that was your thought.
Yeah.
And I think it was a pretty good thought. I don't know how John
Well, it's a different form, it's called planned unit development.
Sure.
So it's,
Still be C2.
what we've seen, you might have heard me say that meeting too, was we've zoned things that they tell us what they're gonna do. And again, like you said, it just bad karma how it all set up with the night of the meeting, but it was, we've rezoned things and we go ahead and approve it, and then all of a sudden, it's a shop that's probably not very appropriate,
Yeah.
you know? And I was thinking, well, the planning development would give you guys some teeth and give us some teeth to cover if you decide one day, you know, I wanna make this my corporate headquarters as opposed to, that's kind of what I was.
Yeah, someone in the meeting had mentioned, and we kind of threw this at these guys about, is the front half of the property staying what it currently is? And they only want to operate in the back, and that's 100% the intent. And a little bit, and this might be for another meeting. I don't want to stand up here and talk forever, but currently the building is occupied by Heritage Planners. They're a financial planner that is my business partner in Dietz, but owns and operates that separately. They've been in the community for over 40 years. They have offices in Maumee, Perrysburg, Tampa, Florida, Chicago, Illinois, Batavia, Illinois, and he's not going anywhere. I understand that that's hard to say. We could, you know, they could close and Taco Bell opens up, is probably what you're thinking, right? But we have no intent of touching anything having to do with that. There's a 2.5-car garage that we would license to be able to process food, and one of the mentions was that we're moving our food processing facility that we currently have on the east side there. That's also not the case. We just want to have ability to have some overflow production because we want to expand into opening a store in the Sylvania Township area. And right now, our processing is 15 minutes into Oregon, and it's not really feasible for us. It's not that it's not feasible, but it would make more sense for us to be able to expand this way by having something here that's an arm of what we currently do.
So is the owner staying in the front building?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's my business partner in Dietz, but his business is there. We just have.
We were told that your offices were going to be in there.
Yeah, so within that building, it used to be a house that's converted into office space. There's currently 5 offices, a waiting area, and a kitchenette. Dietz Barbecue occupies 2 of those offices, one for our office manager, one for our catering
But
operation.
you actually wouldn't own that.
No.
Oh.
We actually, legally, we lease space out there. Yeah. But no, that will have zero to do with it. As far as like the visual from the road and everything, that's why, like, no one would even know. It's not even a thing. We don't, we currently operate our full service facility that operates produces food for 3 restaurants, 3 mobile operations, a catering facility, and an event company with 2 staff year round. So we're talking about 2 vehicles, and
So I think you're saying the front could stay
would stay.
C4?
Yeah. So that's one question I threw up. That what about this? What if only a certain parcel of the property was zoned that way, and we wouldn't be allowed to touch the front of the building? That obviously would be the visual concern of Holland-Sylvania.
Well, there was some concern about a food truck, but you couldn't do that in C4.
That was brought up, I know, by our neighbor, maybe somebody gentleman. That's not. We wouldn't be looking to do any kind of retail aspect, and if there was a way for that to be written in that it was not allowed, we'd be fine with that because it's not even part of the idea.
With the garage in the back, what kind of right of ways do you have to that alleyway and things. that
So
my only
unfortunately,
concern
my
driving
business
through it.
partner who owns the property, he had another thing that he had to jump into that was emergency for one of his clients. So we plan to come back again, but I think he knows more about the shared use of that drive. There's something within the purchase agreement and how that property works, because he does have a garage there currently that is accessible via that shared drive between the service center and his building. His property line ends at that drive, but there is some kind of,
Easement or
yeah, and
access
I
agreement or
honestly don't know
Well,
the
I was
exact.
concerned, John, I was also concerned. We've had problems before where we approve something, and they say, well, the neighbor and I are in agreement.
Sure.
Then you find out after you get the zoning, they never discussed it.
Yeah.
That bothered me about access.
Sure.
to the-
Yeah, we would obviously want to, and again, like I had mentioned, the neighbors, we haven't even met. We would love to be in the same room and like work it out so that it's understood, the concerns are not real concerns. And then also identify that there's the same operation that we're looking to do operating 50 yards from our door right now that feeds 3 states in Berry Bagels commissary. That's their corporate commissary that feeds all of their franchise operations. And that's trucks going in and out of there all the time. And we're looking to do much less than that just for Northwest Ohio. So anyways, I just,
Go ahead.
I wanted to, have a little open dialogue, bring this to your guys' attention, see what our options were, and see if we can think outside the box to revisit it.
I mean, thanks for coming first. For sure. And, we were excited to have you as part of our community, and kind of surprising to hear you're already here. But yeah, I mean, whatever we can do to help move this along and things. And again, I think we all look at it worst case scenario, and without you being here to answer those questions, that's kind of how we made our decision. And so if you would work with our guys, and again, I think you've got, we want to help you out whatever we can do, but, and again, relieve some of those concerns that were brought up. And just either put them to bed or figure out how we'll deal with them in the future. But I think if we knew a little bit more about what was going in there and how it was going to operate, I think it would have been an easier decision.
Yeah, I have an easy time saying in food and beverage, there's a lot of operators that could care less about what you guys think, and we don't operate that way. We really try to work with the communities around because we want it to be a long relationship where we can grow. And so that's the processes we met all the way up until this last thing. And everything was going beautiful, and we're talking with everybody about how I'm going to cater your son's graduation party and this and that, and all of a sudden it was like, no, and it's just rather confusing for us. So.
Wow.
I see 2 options, C4 in the front, C2 in the back, with a joint easement, or I see a PUD. I don't think we'd need a C4 with a PUD for C2, do you?
You can do an overlay, right?
You could work that out with our staff. Maybe there's 3 different options that could be done. So,
For the PUD.
And you heard what was her name? Lanny, because you heard her on tape.
No, I didn't. I intentionally didn't. But I've received letters and other things that I will do that and do due diligence, go back and listen to that.
Because, I think her thoughts were there's food trucks out front, we can't pull out.
Yeah, and
That was a lot of that. That was what
we
the
made
mayor
attempts to
said.
communicate that was, we tried to make appointments and it was shut down.
So if you could tie that down,
Yeah.
your plan, and the PUD is more of a plan than just a straight zone change. Just a plan will help you.
That's kind of what I meant when I said it. So those ideas, no disrespect to them. If that was real, I would feel the same way they did if I was them. But what they're describing is so far away from our intent and what we want to do.
Well, PUD might give them a different avenue, like they
there's several
mentioned,
different avenues.
but I mean like on a timing thing.
No, that's what, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You guys will let us know
It
that.
looks like Daryl wants to say something to it.
Sure. Yeah, just looking up on a zoning resolution, it's if a proposed amendment initiated by application is disapproved by the Board of Township Trustees, another application for the same proposed amendment shall not be submitted within 6 months from the date of disapproval. So
It was different.
if he were to go for a C2
I
PUD,
think there's three options. I don't want to get into that. You can work that out with our staff.
Yeah.
I think, don't you guys? I don't want to get into that.
So you're saying we can move it up the list to go back PUD?
but it's still to go back through the plan commission and everything, but it would be 3 months instead of 6 months. And it could concurrently go through the BZA for the conditional use at the same time as
Mhm.
zoning
Because
application.
we're getting that done, yeah.
So if he comes back PUD, then we don't have to do a conditional use?
No, I believe it still has to be a conditional use for
Why?
the BZA, for the food processing.
That's right.
I think maybe this can be worked out, but Darrell and Oliver, I'm glad to hear that he was handled well.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know.
I will be honest, I was probably the worst out of all. It was kind of heated and upset, but, they were very helpful in explaining what to do next. So, yeah, we've had no issues.
I'm comfortable.
Go and follow the process and do the right thing to see what we can do. to fix
I
it.
think you can work out, I see three options, I don't want to pick one, but, and there's no guarantee when you come to us
Sure.
again,
Mhm.
depends on what's said at the meeting, it's hard to
Yeah,
pre-approve
I
something
think like,
before you hear the, but I think there's three options, and I would say, work with Darrell and Oliver and come up with the best option
Mhm.
that they think would be best for the property. What do you guys,
Yeah,
okay?
I think so too.
Yeah, get her
Keep it moving
started.
along.
Sounds to me like we can not wait 6 months.
that'd be great.
That's for their decision.
Sure, sure.
Okay, thank
So the
you.
next step.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Reach out to you and we'll get together kind of thing. All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks for coming.
Yes, I do.
I love your restaurants, by the way.
Thank you.
As a customer, I love them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good food.
Next item on the agenda is open discussion and reports. And there's no action required here, but there's a liquor permit at 3015 North Holland-Sylvania Road that we've been notified at. The police and fire have no objections. Next item is an update on the first meeting in July. I think that's Mr. Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first meeting in July would fall on the 4th of July. So by the resolution that's adopted at the beginning of the year, the first meeting would move to Wednesday, July 5th, with the second meeting in July resuming on July 18th. Regular schedules follow.
I'm okay with it. I guess if it's another date, we're gonna.
I mean, if you want to just do, it's up, just outside the box, I mean, really, it's kind of, the workload's been kind of light lately. If you want to just do one meeting in July.
Yeah, we can certainly look at a combined meeting.
You can't hear
They're all shaking. his head.
Given the time of year, we're almost guaranteed to be having some high grass abatements by that time.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's a
No, it's
minor
fine.
thing in the
It's all
big
good.
picture. I don't want to
No, it's fine.
screw up everybody's schedule.
I can do Wednesday night if that works for you guys.
Well, that's already been announced, but I guess if it would happen that there isn't any high grass, I guess we could skip it and go to one meeting.
Yeah.
Does that help you, Mr. Turner?
It does, I just wanted to make
If
sure.
there's
that
no
the
items
board's preferences.
or something that can be put off, let's go to one meeting. That seems makes sense.
Certainly, just have some follow-up and then
Yeah.
post a
Yeah.
notice on the website.
Okay, no motions necessary. Thank you. And if there's no other items, I'll move to adjourn at 5:39.
Second?
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Great 4th of July, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, John. You too.
Ms. Sanders,
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave the sheet for you with the, you don't have to do it right now.
I'm gonna